And now for the moment you have all been waiting for. Let's discuss the latest with billionaire Peter Thiel, who was a keynote speaker at last year's Bitcoin Miami conference, which is the largest conference for Bitcoin in the world. And I was actually there. If any of you were also there, please do let me know. But interestingly, he predicted, and at the time, Bitcoin was trading at roughly just north of 43,000. And he said, I believe the Bitcoin price will rise another 100x from the current prices, which ultimately means $4+ million per one Bitcoin. But even more interestingly, there's rumors, word on the street, that he dumped his large crypto position at around the time of the height, shortly after making the prediction. So that's what I want to cover with you today. And then we'll dive into our live Q&A. And again, welcome to everyone just tuning in. Let me know where you're tuning in from in the live chat, as I greatly appreciate everyone's support, of course. So here we go. Let's discuss this. Peter Thiel's capital firm reportedly made $1.8 billion closing out its crypto positions last year, around the time when the early Bitcoin bull was still predicting the token price to surge 100x. That's right, 100 times 43,000 is roughly 4.3 million per coin. Now, Founders Fund had cashed out almost all of its bets on digital assets by March of 2022, according to a Financial Times report that cited people familiar with the matter. But Thiel was still backing Bitcoin when he spoke at the crypto conference in Miami the following month. Pretty interesting, right? Quoting him here, we're at the end of the fiat money regime, he said, adding that the token's price could increase 100-fold from its level at the time, which was actually 44,000, so virtually predicting a above $4 million price prediction. Now, that prediction was proven false as rising interest rates and failures of high-profile firms like Celsius, Three Arrows Capital, and FTX dragged the crypto sector into a prolonged slump. Obviously, 2022 was the ultimate bearish year, but Bitcoin did plummet over 60% in that year and was trading at under 17,000 by the end of the year, with the current cycle low still at 15,700. Now, the Founders Fund first started pouring money into crypto all the way back in 2014 when Bitcoin was only trading at $750 per coin. And by the time Bitcoin reached its all-time high in November of 2021, it had already surged 8,500% from that level. Now, Thiel has a long track record as one of Silicon Valley's most prominent tech investors. Remember, he is a co-founder of PayPal, and he took early stakes in startups, which also include Facebook, Elon Musk's SpaceX, and ride-hailing app Lyft, and obviously co-founded PayPal all the way back in 1998. Thiel is also a very high-profile supporter of the Republican Party and has continued to voice his support for Donald Trump since the former president left office in January of 2021. And at one point, they were working together. The fund held around 2/3 of its portfolio in the token at one time, referring to Bitcoin, obviously, but now has no significant exposure to crypto, according to sources, which makes this all very interesting. Now let's actually quote the billionaire PayPal co-founder from that speech he gave at the Bitcoin 2022 conference in Miami, quoting him word for word because I transcribed his speech. The enemies list is the list of people who I think are stopping Bitcoin. There are a lot of them. They tend to have nameless, faceless, bureaucratic perspectives, which is, of course, one of the ways they hide. We are going to try to expose them and realize that this is sort of what we have to fight for Bitcoin to go up 10x or 100x. From here, preach. The central banks are going bankrupt. We're at the end of the fiat money regime. The first person on the list is Berkshire Hathaway's CEO Warren Buffett. Thiel put up a picture of Buffett with two of his most famous quotes about Bitcoin. The first one, rat poison squared. We all know that. And I don't own any, and I never will. And lo and behold, how much Bitcoin does Warren Buffett currently hold indirectly, because he's a major investor in Bitcoin-related mining companies. So it's interesting, right? He opined, I think the sociopathic grandpa of Omaha is perhaps the most honest and the most direct in it. Now, Thiel further noted that Buffett has a bias that makes him long in the fiat money system, naturally, and money managers who follow Berkshire Hathaway's executive advice will pretend it's complicated to invest into Bitcoin. The next person on the list of Bitcoin enemies is the one and only JP Morgan Chase CEO, Jamie Dimon, aka Jamie the Tapeworm, as Max Kaiser refers to him as. Thiel put Dimon's picture up with the following quote, "I don't call them cryptocurrencies. I call them crypto tokens because currencies have rules of law behind them, central banks and tax authorities." And the next picture he put up was that of BlackRock CEO Larry Fink with the following quote. And I remind you, this is before the BlackRock filing for the spot ETF. "I see huge opportunities in digitized crypto blockchain related currency, and that's where I think it's going. The PayPal co-founder added that Fink's quote is somewhat representative of a whole genre of Bitcoin attacks that need further context, stating that the pro-blockchain is an anti-Bitcoin term, very typically. Now, Thiel also brought up environmental, social, and governance, ESG standards, elaborating the following. They label they have come up with, and perhaps the real enemy is ESG. I think that ESG is just a hate factory, and he stressed, you can always ask the question, what is the difference between ESG and the CCP, which you can see what that stands for right here. I don't want to get kicked off of YouTube, just FYI. Anyways, when you think ESG, you should be thinking CCP. It is the finance genotocracy that runs the country through whatever silly virtue signaling and hate factory to them like ESG they have, the billionaire concluded. And I'll leave you with this. This is what I would call what we have to think of as a revolutionary youth movement. And we have to just go out from this conference and take over the world. So there you have it, coming directly from Peter Thiel. Let me know if you agree or disagree with his predictions regarding the Bitcoin enemy list. I agree 100%. I know that JP Morgan Chase and Jamie Dimon is anti-Bitcoin, meanwhile investing into it indirectly the same way as Warren Buffett. And also BlackRock, I mean, I don't really need to say much, but now BlackRock is obviously bullish on Bitcoin. They're looking to get that spot ETF approved in the United States and be the first to do that, which will usher in trillions of dollars into, the number one crypto in the world, one and only king, Bitcoin. So it'll be interesting, to see how this all plays out. And what are your thoughts on Peter Thiel allegedly cashing in his Bitcoin prediction at around the time he was making those bullish price predictions? Obviously, he must have made a smart move if, considering the Bitcoin price did dump, shortly after that speech from 44,000 at the time he gave it all the way to 15,700 at the end of last year. So obviously that would put him in a great position to get a new position, but it's all very interesting. Just the fact that someone would be making such bullish predictions and then be selling at the same time. I don't know if that surprises you or not, but it is what it is. But bigger picture, what are your thoughts surrounding his 100x price prediction that the Bitcoin price can realistically hit $4 million per coin? And by what time frame, more importantly, do you think the Bitcoin price trajectory is likely to hit that level at? Let me know your honest thoughts, fam, in the comments right down below.